Respected friends, if you are over 60, then what I'm about to say may change the rest of your life. You see, the heart doesn't scream when it's in danger. It whispers quietly, a small stiffness in the morning, a little shortness of breath, or a moment when you feel tired for no reason. Those are not just signs of aging. They're your body's desperate cry for help. Its way of saying, please, something is blocking me inside. For decades, we've been told that aging alone causes heart problems, but that's not true. The real danger often hides inside what we eat. The very foods we grew up trusting, the ones we believe are harmless, even comforting. But what if I told you that 3 common foods, things you might eat every single week, are silently clogging your arteries, thickening your blood, and choking the flow of life itself through your body? Picture this, your heart beating faithfully for years, never resting, never pausing. It's been your companion through every laughter, every sorrow. And yet, every time one of these foods enters your system, it leaves behind invisible scars, fatty deposits that slowly narrow the passageways of life. You don't feel it at first, but one morning you wake up and the world feels heavier. You climb the stairs and your chest tightens, you shrug it off. You think it's just age, but it's not age, it's damage. Quiet, hidden damage. I've seen it too many times in my years of medical practice. Patients who seemed perfectly fine, until one day they weren't. Their arteries were so clogged that their heart was fighting for every beat. And when I looked back at their diets, I saw the same patterns, the same silent enemies. These foods don't just fill your stomach, they fill your arteries with sludge. They age your body from the inside out. And what breaks my heart is this: it's not your fault. You were taught these foods were safe, even good for you. Marketing told you they were part of a balanced diet. But science tells a different story, one that has been buried under profit and convenience. That's why today, I want to lift that curtain. I want to speak to you, not as a doctor in a white coat, but as someone who truly cares about your tomorrow. Because if you're over 60, you don't have time to gamble with your heart. There are 3 foods that act like silent poison to your arteries, creating the perfect storm for heart attacks, strokes, and chronic fatigue. And they're not exotic or rare. They're sitting in your kitchen right now. Some of them even smell delicious, remind you of childhood, of comfort, of family dinners. But behind that warmth hides danger. The kind of danger that doesn't strike fast, it creeps in slowly, like rust on metal, until one day, something snaps. So before we uncover these hidden culprits, I want you to pause for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. That gentle rhythm inside your chest is the most loyal sound you'll ever know. It's been there since your first breath. And everything we discuss tonight, every warning, every truth, is meant for one purpose: to protect that sound, to make sure it never fades too soon. Now, let's look closer at the first of these foods. It's something most people eat without thinking twice. It's on your breakfast table, in your fridge, and maybe even in your favorite comfort meal. Yet it's one of the fastest ways to thicken the blood and strain the heart. And once you know what it does inside your arteries, you may never look at it the same way again. Imagine this. You wake up to a bright morning, make yourself breakfast, and reach for that familiar food you've eaten for decades. It smells rich, satisfying, comforting. Maybe you've even been told it's a good source of energy. But as it enters your bloodstream, it does something your eyes can't see. It coats the inner walls of your arteries with a sticky layer of fat. That fat hardens. It doesn't go away. Slowly, it builds up, turning smooth, flexible arteries into rigid, narrow tunnels. And when that happens, the heart has to push harder and harder until one day it can't push anymore. This first silent killer is processed meat. The bacon at breakfast, the sausages, the deli cuts that look so innocent in their shiny packages. What makes them dangerous isn't just the fat, it's what's done to them. When meat is processed, it's filled with chemicals like sodium nitrites and preservatives that inflame your arteries and damage the inner lining of your blood vessels. The endothelium, that thin, magical layer that keeps your heart's highways open and clean. Once it's injured, cholesterol sticks to it like glue. The body panics and tries to heal the damage, but in doing so, it builds more and more plaque. The result? A ticking time bomb inside your chest. And yet, you won't feel a thing at first. You'll laugh with your friends, walk your dog, maybe even go dancing. But deep inside, the walls of your arteries are hardening. That's the cruel part. Heart disease is silent until it's too late. The next food, equally deceptive, is something we often consider innocent, even healthy. It's golden, crispy, and comforting. You find it in fries, in fried chicken, in chips that crunch perfectly between your teeth. But what gives it that satisfying texture is a kind of oil that doesn't just clog your arteries, it inflames them. These oils, found in most fried and packaged foods, are loaded with trans fats. And trans fats are like the cement of the heart world. Once they settle inside you, they don't leave easily. They thicken your blood, raise your bad cholesterol, and lower your good cholesterol. They turn the gentle flow of blood into a struggle. What's even worse? These oils are sneaky. Even when a label says 0 trans fats, the law allows small amounts to be hidden under the radar. And those small amounts add up, day after day, bite after bite. That's why people who switch to home-cooked whole foods often see dramatic improvements in their heart health. Not because of miracles, but because they've stopped poisoning their arteries with invisible toxins. Sometimes I wish I could show people what I've seen under the microscope. How blood changes after a meal of fried or processed food. It becomes thicker, slower, stickier. The red cells clump together like traffic on a jammed highway. The heart has to push harder just to keep things moving. That's not aging, that's sabotage. And it's heartbreaking because most people don't know. They think, I'm just getting older. But the truth is, the body can still heal at 60, 70, even 80%. The arteries can regain flexibility. The blood can flow smoother. The heart can beat stronger, but only if you stop feeding it the things that suffocate it. There's one more food, perhaps the most deceptive of all, that nearly everyone over 60 has eaten without suspecting it's harming them. It doesn't taste greasy or heavy. It's not fried or meaty. In fact, it often comes in beautiful packaging, labeled as heart-friendly, light, or natural. Yet it might be the quietest destroyer of all. Because this one doesn't just clog your arteries, it confuses your body, manipulates your hormones, and creates a craving loop that's nearly impossible to break. And once I tell you what it is, you'll understand why so many good, health-conscious people still struggle with heart problems, even when they think they're doing everything right. It's sweet, comforting, a taste that brings back memories of childhood, birthdays, family dinners, moments of reward after a long day. But hidden beneath that sweetness is a slow, merciless poison. I'm talking about refined sugar, the quiet architect of artery damage, the invisible hand that tightens your chest long before you ever feel pain. Sugar doesn't just raise your energy, it raises inflammation, the silent spark that ignites nearly every heart problem we see today. When you consume refined sugar, your blood sugar spikes, and your insulin rushes in to balance it. But the more it happens, the more your body grows resistant. That resistance turns into chaos inside your bloodstream. Excess sugar converts into fat, especially a dangerous kind known as triglycerides, and these are like sludge in your arteries, sticking, thickening, clogging. But it doesn't stop there. Sugar also injures your arterial walls. Imagine the inside of your arteries as a smooth, glistening river. Sugar turns that surface rough and sticky, making it easier for cholesterol and fats to attach themselves. Over time, those tiny attachments become plaques, hardening into barriers that the heart must fight against with every beat. That's why people who have never smoked, who eat light, and who exercise still end up with heart blockages. Because sugar works quietly, disguised as comfort, disguised as happiness. And here's the cruel twist. Sugar doesn't only come in desserts. It hides in salad dressings, in sauces, in healthy cereals, in yogurt, even in your morning tea. You may think you're avoiding it, but it's there, shaping your fate one spoonful at a time. When I talk to patients who've suffered from heart disease, they often look shocked when I tell them this. One woman in her 70s once said to me, "Doctor, I never smoked, never drank. How did this happen to me?" And I told her the truth. It wasn't what she didn't do. It was what she didn't know. The foods she trusted had betrayed her. But here's what gives me hope. When she changed her diet, when she removed these artery-clogging foods and replaced them with whole living natural ones, her body began to heal. Her energy returned. Her breathing eased. Even her tests improved. The body is miraculous that way. It wants to heal. It just needs you to stop hurting it. And maybe, as you sit here listening, you feel a little afraid. Maybe you've been eating these foods for years and think it's too late. But let me tell you something. It's never too late. Your arteries are not stone. They can open again. Your heart can grow stronger again. Every healthy meal, every step you take, every conscious choice you make sends a message to your body, I'm still fighting. I still care. You see, the purpose of this message isn't to scare you, it's to wake you. Because fear fades, but awareness lasts. Once you know what's harming you, you have power. And once you use that power, everything begins to change. Now that you know these 3 dangerous foods, processed meats, fried and trans fat-laden meals, and refined sugars, you may be wondering, what do I eat instead? What can I give my heart that helps it heal instead of hurt? There are foods that do the opposite of clogging, foods that clean, repair, and protect your arteries like gentle medicine from nature itself. They can lower inflammation, soften your vessels, and help your blood move like it did years ago. And that's where our next part begins. With hope, with healing, and with the truth that it's never too late to reverse the damage. Because after all the warnings, all the science, and all the fear, the most powerful medicine still begins at your table and in your choices. Let's imagine something together. It's morning, and you wake up feeling light. Your breathing is easy, your steps are steady, and when you look in the mirror, you see peace in your eyes. That's not just a dream. That's what happens when your arteries begin to heal, when your blood flows freely, when your heart finally gets to rest after years of struggle. Healing isn't magic, it's a result of simple, consistent choices. Choices that whisper to your body, I haven't given up on you. When you remove the foods that clog your arteries, the processed meats, the fried oils, and the hidden sugars, something beautiful begins inside you. Your inflammation cools down. Your blood becomes thinner, cleaner, more alive. Your cells get oxygen again. The fog in your mind starts to lift. And the fatigue you once thought was just aging, it begins to fade. So what can you eat instead? Nature has already written the answer, in colors, textures, and flavors that heal. Whole foods like fresh fruits, green vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and clean proteins. Foods rich in omega-3s like salmon and walnuts that soothe your arteries instead of scratching them raw. Garlic, turmeric, and olive oil that act like gentle brushes, cleaning the insides of your blood vessels. These aren't fads or trends, they're nature's truth, written long before any modern diet ever existed. But healing your arteries isn't just about the food. It's about slowing down, breathing, learning to listen to your body again, because the body speaks. It tells you when it's tired, when it's inflamed, when it's overwhelmed. We just forget to listen. Stress, anger, sleepless nights, they all tighten the arteries too. The mind and the heart are connected in ways medicine still struggles to explain. So when you nourish your mind with peace, gratitude, and forgiveness, your heart listens. I've seen people over 60 who looked frail, hopeless, and ready to surrender, come back stronger than ever. They didn't find a miracle pill. They found discipline. They found patience. They learned to love the silence of a morning walk, the smell of a home-cooked meal, the laughter shared around a simple bowl of soup. That's when healing happens, not in hospitals, but in the small, sacred moments of your daily life. Your arteries don't want luxury, they want kindness. They want you to stop feeding them poison and start feeding them life. And when you do, you'll notice something powerful. Your skin will glow differently, your sleep will deepen, and your energy will return. Because when the blood flows freely, life flows freely. So take this message to heart, literally. Every meal is a decision, a vote for life or decay. Every bite is a message to your heart saying either I love you or I've forgotten you. And I believe, deep down, you haven't forgotten. You just needed someone to remind you, and that's what Health Decoded is here for. Not to scare you, but to awaken you. to remind you that your heart, even now after all it's endured, still wants to live, still wants to love, still wants to carry you further. Now that you know the truth about the foods that harm and the foods that heal, the question becomes, what will you choose next? Because your next meal could either feed disease or feed life. And the choice, my friend, has always been yours. Take a deep breath with me and place your hand over your heart. Feel that rhythm, that steady, quiet beating. It's the one thing that's been with you through every storm, every joy, every loss. It has never stopped for a single moment since the day you were born. It has carried you through years of work, laughter, pain, and love. And yet, how often do we stop to thank it? How often do we feed it what it truly deserves? If you've ever felt weak, tired, or scared of what tomorrow might bring, I want you to know something. Your story is not over. You are not too old, not too far gone, not too damaged to heal. The body is extraordinary. It forgives, it rebuilds, it renews, but it needs your help. When you begin to love yourself through your choices, through the food you eat, through the peace you allow, through the rest you give yourself, everything changes. The same arteries that once carried pain can carry power again. The same heart that once struggled can grow strong again. And that's the miracle waiting inside you, not in a pill, not in a hospital, but in your own hands. So from this moment forward, let this be your quiet promise: I will protect my heart. I will feed it life, not poison. I will choose healing, not habit. Because you are still here for a reason. Your heart is still beating for a reason. Every beat is a message from God whispering, you still have time. Time to heal, time to change, time to live differently. And when you do, when you wake up one morning feeling lighter, calmer, stronger, you will realize something profound. You didn't just save your heart. You saved your future. So take care of that beautiful heart inside your chest, because it's not just an organ, it's your story, it's your strength, it's your life. And if this message touched you, if it opened your eyes even a little, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Someone you love might need this truth more than you know. This is Health Decoded, reminding you that real health begins with awareness and healing begins with love. Stay kind to your body, stay gentle with your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.